Hey guys, happy Friday. It's Scars Week here on BloggiePals, which means we're telling you stories about our scars. And some background information you're going to need for mine is that pretty much my whole life I have been doing things to impress girls. Yeah. And that's what I was doing when I got this scar. So I guess I should show it to you first? Okay, I'll show it to you first. Here's my scar. Hopefully it's in the shot. It's on my right shoulder. And yeah. So it was the year 2000. I was 7 years old. It was the middle of summer. And I was just riding my bike around my neighborhood, having a good time, when I saw a really adorable blonde girl that I had a huge crush on, who lives in my development. And I was riding my bike, and she was with her family. And I decided that I wanted to impress her, so I picked up the speed, and I went on the bike really, really fast, and I was headed towards her to go say hi to her and her family. And I took the turn into her cul-de-sac, and I took it really sharply, and yeah, next thing I knew, I was flying off the bike at a speed of like 15 miles an hour, and I landed shoulder first onto the pavement, and here's where it gets really embarrassing. Now I just fallen off my bike, so you know the smart thing to do would have been to check and see if I was okay and make sure that nothing was torn or broken. But instead, I jumped up and pretended like it didn't happen. And I got back on the bike, and I biked the 50 feet over to where she was. And I went and said hi to her and her family, who were staring at me in horror because I had just fallen off my bike. And I just kind of shrugged it off and smiled and said, "Hi, how are you? How are you doing?" And she couldn't say anything. She was completely dumbfounded, and I didn't understand why she wasn't saying anything until she went and pointed at my shoulder. And when she pointed at my shoulder, I looked over and I saw that it was gushing blood. At which point, I was like, "Oh, I'm bleeding." And then I fainted. I came to almost immediately, but I passed out, and then I came back up a few seconds later, and they were like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm fine," and I like hightailed it out of there. I mean, like, oh my God, I went so quickly. I biked home, and I ran up to the bathroom, and I treated my wound, my battle wound, and I was wearing a muscle shirt, and I put on a long sleeve shirt so that my shoulder was hidden, and you couldn't see the band-aids that I put there. And my parents didn't see me walk in, but they saw me walking back out, and they were like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Nothing," and I flew back outside. I went around and biked a little in the opposite direction, avoiding her. And then, eventually I came back home, and I walked back into my house, and, I pretended like I hadn't just destroyed my shoulder. But my parents found out anyway, because they saw that I had re-torn my shoulder, and it was gushing blood through the bandage and through my shirt, and I didn't notice again. And so my mom freaked out, and they treated me, and they were like, "What the hell happened?" And I screamed and cried, and it was an ordeal. The worst part about this whole story is that I haven't talked to that girl since that day. She still lives where she lives, which is just a couple blocks away. We went to school together all the way through graduating high school, and I haven't talked to her since that day. Yeah. It was the most traumatizing thing that has ever happened to me, because all I wanted to do was go talk to this girl who I thought was cute, and instead I fell flat on my shoulder off of my bike, bled out a little bit, and then I fainted in front of her and her family, and then I came to and ran away, and I haven't spoken to her since. So the moral of the story is, never try to impress a girl while you're on a bike. It's kind of like drinking and driving, except a little bit more embarrassing. So yeah, my video had a lesson this week. I hope you guys have good rest of your weeks, and I'm excited, hopefully, to see what Janae and Justin have in terms of scars, if they make videos. Yeah. I'm gonna end this now. Bye.
Do 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 boo boo. BloggiePals.